Okay, so to start off, we got some developing breaking news here, folks. Yet again, there has been another assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump at his home in Florida, as NBC News is reporting here. It says Trump assassination attempt live update, suspect gunman in custody after second apparent plot. The suspect was taken into custody yesterday and is identified as Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old. So this apparently happened yesterday on Sunday while he was golfing. And what we know so far about, like I said, this is all developing as you're hearing it. So they're claiming that the FBI is investigating on apparent second assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump at his golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, yesterday. The incident comes 2 months after a gunman opened fire at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. That was at in Butler, Pennsylvania. The suspect was taken into custody and identified as Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old. He hid in the bushes and pointed an AR style rifle with a scope at Trump, who was about 400 yards away, officials say. The Secret Service spotted the person and opened fire before Routh fled and was later arrested. Routh also had a GoPro camera and a backpack with ceramic tiles when he was near the course, authorities say. Trump thanked the Secret Service as well as the public for their well wishes on what he called an interesting day. Court records show that more than 100 criminal counts have been filed against Routh in North Carolina. He had been previously spoken about his efforts to recruit people to fight in support of Ukraine against Russia. So if that isn't a clear clue of who this guy is, note the fact that he has a criminal past and also wants to recruit people to fill in a proxy war in Ukraine to go against Russia. Nothing at all suspicious, nothing at all, interesting in the suspect at hand. Just like how that kid that we showed you in California just happened, that high schooler that just happened to walk into a college campus and crack the heads of peaceful protesters. Nothing at all suspicious. The fact that now he's fleeing to Israel to fight with the IDF. Nothing at all suspicious. So this is the second time, folks, the second time that this has happened. And we know for a fact, we know, from keen observation, and it's obvious to people to understand that the Democratic Party, the establishment, the powers that be, the intelligence agencies, the military industrial complex want Trump out of the picture. We know that for fact. We know that from keen observation that they don't want him anywhere in the political hemisphere. They don't want him, period. And they have tried every which way to crack down on his campaign, to silence him, to try to put him into prison, to try to put him out of the election turmoil. And they've done everything that they can, has failed every single point, to the point that they have to kill him. That's not even me saying that. That was pointed out by Tucker Carlson, who said back in January, after they tried to prosecute him for the third time and impeach him, and the establishment is shaking their heads going, what the hell to do next? Because every time they do legal malpractice to try to silence out Trump, it exposes more about them. It exposes more about how corrupted, how hideous, how disgusting, how hypocritical they are towards Trump. And I'm no fan of Trump myself, but the fact that this is a second assassination attempt in just a few months, after everything that they put against him, after all the legal malpractice that they have imposed on Trump just to silence out this campaign and election, the January 6th setup, the Fedsurrection, as they call it, which is the same exact principle and plot that they used to take down Bolsonaro in Brazil. So now Bolsonaro can't even run in his own election. So again, regardless of how you feel about Trump, regardless if you like him or hate him or despise about him, regardless of the fact that we are witnessing political persecution and silencing out your opponents to keep an authoritarian style dictatorship, to keep this oligarchy intact against the people. That's what this is all about. It's the fact that they can never ever have a populist candidate, whether it being Donald Trump, whether it being RFK Jr., whether it be Tulsi Gabbard, whether it be Bernie Sanders back in 2016. They will never, ever, ever allow a person who is standing for a populist movement to advance in politics. That's why they did everything. They tried to silence Trump. That's why they're trying to go after the MAGA movement. They're trying, every legal which way to Sunday to try to clamper down on a political movement because, again, they can't have populism in an oligarchy. An oligarchy only serves one purpose. The oligarchs, the top tier 1%, the billionaire class, they have no interest in serving the people. They have no interest in representing their actual constituents in their counties that they're representing. They have no interest in democracy. They have no interest in republic. And that is why it is all going away, folks. We are at the end stage of the United States Republic, the democracy within. We are at the end stage point where people are waking up to realize that it's already gone. It's already gone. You didn't have a choice then. You don't have a choice now. They're just pushing people aside. They're just paving the way for whatever comes with be, and we're getting screwed in the process. So, again, this is just it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing that this is the second time this has happened. Surprisingly, that Secret Service actually did their job this time. Not waiting around for a pizza to show up or looking at memes on their phone while they see the shooter in their line. They actually did something for once. So I don't know. Maybe they actually had some decent agents representing Trump at the time. But either way, it is just, it's chaotic. It's absolutely chaotic that this has happened again. And just like the last time, just like, every other time, it's going to be, they're going to mass report it now, and then it's going to be swept under the rug. We're not going to have an investigation. We're not going to figure out why exactly a 58-year-old got into the golf course that Trump was participating in and opened fire. We're not going to have an investigation on that, just like we're not going to have an investigation on Butler, Pennsylvania, because they don't want word to get out. They don't want, there's obviously some sort of scrutiny. There's obviously some sort of backstory that they don't want to be released to the public. So they're trying to keep it under the rugs. That's why they had the head of Secret Service the first time, Kimberly Cheadle, just say, oh, it's just, oopsie daisy. It was our mistake. It was a mistake of the Secret Service. It was just, we're that incompetent. Even though a lot of people know that there's way more to the story than just lack of competency in the Secret Service. There has to be more than just incompetency. No one can be that stupid at their job. No one can be that stupid at their job. So here's CNN, and I want to show this because you tell me how they're reporting this in this weird way. So Clay Travis points out CNN also reported shots were fired at Trump today in a second assassination attempt. Crazy idea. Maybe don't let people on your network call him Hitler. Well, yeah, that would be a start. That'd be a start. Don't refer to him as the worst for America. Don't propagandize people that are already in a paranoid state, that are already been misled by their network, by their malpractice of journalism, if you can even call it journalism, how they lied deliberately to their audience, and just, maybe start there for an instance. But I want to show the video because you tell me The way that they're reporting this kind of reveals a lot on CNN. The way that they're going to report this. If you listen to the tone of her voice, you know what I'm talking about. Listen how it's being reported, and you tell me if there's something hidden behind that message. Listen to this.
We want to let you know the breaking news that we're following. Former President Donald Trump's campaign saying he is safe after gunshots were fired in his vicinity while he was on his golf course a short time ago, just after 2 o'clock Eastern time. We're learning that Trump was playing golf at the club, the Trump International Golf Club in Palm Beach, Florida. When this took place, sources are telling CNN that officials believe the shots were intended for Trump and that an AK-47 was recovered near a tree line area there at the golf course. Law enforcement officials saying that a car was also stopped nearby in relation to the shots being fired. A press conference from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Secret Service will be taking place soon. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor it and take it live if we're able to do that. My law enforcement panel is back. We want to let you know the breaking news that we're following.
So I can't help to notice that it almost sounds like she's disappointed. It almost sounds like she has that bit of, resign and the disappointment in that report. The fact that there was a second assassination attempt on Donald Trump, the fact that CNN has berailed Donald Trump since he launched his campaign in 2016 and endlessly attacked him with smear campaigns, with propaganda, with paranoia, with, referring to him as Hitler, referring to him as the threat to democracy, referring to him as the threat to America. All the times leading up to this, a second assassination attempt happens on the former president. And to me, it sounds like this anchor here is kind of disappointing in the fact that it didn't follow through. I don't know. To me, it sounds like that. To me, I don't know about you. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, but to me, it sounds like there's a bit of sigh. There's a bit of heartbreak in the fact that it was an attempt, and as crazy as that sounds, remember the first time this happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, when the never Trumpers and the anti-Trumpers collaborated together on social media and made jokes about it. Just remember that. Remember that they made jokes about an assassination attempt, how it didn't pander through, if it was only, a couple inches short, how sad they were that it didn't follow through. That's the sickness, the illness, the mental disregard of a serious situation like this, because their brain has just been completely diluted in the Trump derangement syndrome. So I'm gonna play it again. Listen to the tone of her voice. Does that not sound?
We want to let you know the breaking news that we're following. Former President Donald Trump's campaign saying he is safe after gunshots were fired in his vicinity while he was.
He was safe after gunshots are fired. It could be just me, but it does sound like there's a bit of like sadness to it. Not sad in the way that there was an assassination attempt, but sad in the fact that, he was okay from this.
On his golf course a short time ago, just after 2 o'clock Eastern time. We're learning that Trump was playing golf.
He was safe on his golf course. And the shooter is in custody, and like you could kind of tell from the tone of her voice that did she know something that I don't know? Does CNN know preempted this attack before any of the rest of the public knew? Is that the point here? Were they already writing copies about how this is going to be before they reported this? Because to me, it sounds like she has a bit of disappointment. I may be wrong. I may be stir crazy on this, but the that's not the tone of voice you would expect from a story like this. You would have a bit more sympathy in the fact that the second time now, there was a maniac that was about to kill you. The second time now, and maybe a bit of remorse on the reporting of CNN to conflict on the fact that you have stirred people into this retaliation. You stirred people up into these violent acts that maybe you have to look back and do some soul searching. You have to do some remorse and think about how me as an anchor on CNN may have been influencing this. I don't know. But to me, it sounds like there's a bit of disappointment there. Not in a way of, disappointment that, again, there was another assassination attempt, but more on the fact that, Donald Trump got safe and he was golfing and he was there and
at the club, the Trump International Golf Club in Palm Beach, Florida. When this took place, sources are telling CNN that officials believe the shots were intended for Trump and that an AK-47.
So they're saying that the shots were intended for Donald Trump. Like, why would you say that? Again, it could be just me, but it just seems a little crazy. It seems a little too convenient to add that factor in after, the sigh of, we almost had that moment. We almost had it. So it's
was recovered near a tree line area there at the golf course. Law enforcement officials saying that a car was also stopped nearby in relation to the shots being fired. A press conference from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Secret Service will be taking place soon. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor it and take it live if we're able to do that. My law enforcement panel is back.
So I just wanted to show that because it just seems intriguing in how CNN reported that, and it doesn't seem like an urgency to report this story, even though it's supposed to be breaking news. It's supposed to be developing. This is the second time that someone tried to assassinate a president. You think there'd be more of an urge? You think there'd be more of a, oh my God, like an alertness to report this story and be like, oh my God, be concerned about it. But in CNN's case, in CNN's eyes, according to this lady, it's like, there's another attempt. He was on his golf course. There was a car there. They wanted to fire him, but like it seems too weird. It seems too weird. And I know the word weird has come, a little too much these days because they call everything weird now. But this just seems too weird to report on a story like this. Just in my eyes, it seems too weird. And how they've, all these years have just deranged people in the most absurd ways to undermine their political opponents, and you just force people, propagandize people, and manipulate people into siding with the worst of the worst. And like I said, I'm no fan of the Trumpster. There's a lot of faults that Trump has made, but regardless, this is an assassination attempt, a second assassination attempt. You would think people, even the people that disagree with Trump the most, would have some sort of human emotion, some sort of human connection to understand that this is awful, that someone was trying to assassinate him again, that maybe all the rhetoric that led up to this, maybe it went a little too far. Maybe that all the rhetoric played up to this, and the fact that we used to adore him back in the day before he entered politics. He was on the late night talk shows. They invited him onto Saturday Night Live. He had a network reality show for over 10 years. They loved him. They adored him. The View called him they loved him. He was best friends on all the daytime talk shows back in the day. And now all of a sudden, he is a menace. He's Hitler. He's this, that, and the other, to the point that they have tried to prosecute him. They have tried to impeach him. They tried to, as you can see here, cut him out of society completely. It's just absolutely mind-boggling that there's no urgency to this. And again, and I'm sure that they're probably doing this in the fact that, well, we reported it and then we're going to sweep it under the rug. No one's going to investigate it and just let it drive by. Let it drive by, just like the assassination attempt beforehand. Because there's no investigation, no real breakdown of who that kid was, the 20-year-old that magically got to the roof of the building that was right across from Trump's line of sight, how Secret Service failed to track this kid down and stop him, even though they saw him right in his vision. It's just, it's an absurdity that there is no reaction. There's no reaction to this, and they're just letting it slide by, as almost if they were saddened by the fact that this didn't happen as they proposed it to be. And that, to me, is just absolutely disgusting if they felt that way.